Welcome to this channel. Don't forget to give us your likes, your thumbs up, and also make sure you subscribe and share. In the news today, court sets date for hearing on lawsuit against President Tinubu's suspension of Rivers government. According to Daily Post, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt has set 1st of May 2025 to begin hearing a case filed by Belema Brits and others against President Bola Tinubu, the National Assembly, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, the sole administrator of Rivers State, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, and the Nigerian Navy. The plaintiffs want the court to explain certain parts of the 1999 Constitution, especially sections 1, 4, 5, 11, 180, 188, and 305. They are asking the court to decide whether President Tinubu has the right to suspend the elected government of Rivers State, which is supposed to serve a 4-year term. The plaintiffs are challenging President Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State on March 18, 2025, which led to the suspension of the governor, deputy governor, and members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. They believe this action may be a serious violation of the Constitution. In their case, the plaintiff also wants the court to clarify whether the National Assembly has the power to appropriate the president's decision to suspend the state government as stated in sections 5, sections 11, and section 305 of the Constitution. Another issue the plaintiff raised was whether President Tinubu can appoint retired Vice Admiral Ibas as the sole administrator to manage Rivers State based on sections 4, 5, and 305 of the Constitution. The plaintiffs are also asking the court to rule whether the suspension of the elected government and the appointment of Ibas as sole administrator is an unconstitutional act, as they believe it takes away power from the democratically elected government, which the Constitution forbids. Additionally, the plaintiffs argue that the actions violate the African Charter on Human and People's Rights Ratification and Enforcement Act, cap A4, after confirming that all parties had been properly notified. The judge set the case for hearing on May 21, 2025. An end seems not to be coming in sight on the matter of the suspension of the democratically elected government in Rivers State and the appointment of sole administration by the federal government. And in the news, we can see that some person have decided even to sue the president as regards the matter. And not only the president, of course, other people along with the president. The person who filed the case is called Belema Brits and others, and the case is filed against the President Bola Tinubu, the National Assembly, the Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi, and then the sole administrator, which is Ibok Ete Ibas, and the Nigerian Navy. Now they want to, the courts to help in trying to understand the legality of the declaration of the sole administrator in Rivers State, and also the legality or the constitutionality of the suspension of a democratically elected president. And they're also challenging the legality or the constitutionality of the power of the president to make a declaration of a state of emergency and the support that is given to him by the National Assembly. These are some of the things that will be in the debate to and fro for a while until the whole case is, rested by the court. What the plaintiffs want is the full interpretation of this set of section of the Constitution as regards some of the cases they have filed or the matters they brought before the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. It has to do with Section 1, Section 4, Section 5, Section 11, Section 180, 188, and then Section 305. All these sections, well, the lawyers can do justice to them in order to make the public to have a proper understanding on the matter. But then we have been seeing many confusion because some of our lawyers, some are for what the president did, the declaration of state of emergency, while some are against the declaration of state of emergency. Which one, we don't know which one is right or wrong. But then with the involvement of the Federal High Court, now the court of law, I think the interpretation can be given, and then the whole case, I think, will then rest. But since it's in court now, well, the beginning of the case is on May 21, and the court will begin the hearing. We don't know when it's going to end, but of course, we are going to see. From a layman perspective, we know that the president has a right even to declare a state of emergency according to section 305 of the constitution, as stated, if there is any war in a particular state, or probably if there is any breach of peace, as it were, when it has to do with the sovereignty of Nigeria, or is going to affect, the generality of the nation. And if we look nitty-gritty into what is happening in Rivers State, well, some people will say no, it's like the president is using a sledgehammer to kill a mosquito, that the political field between Wike and Fubara is not enough even to declare a state of emergency. That's number two. There is another set of people that believe that that's what is required because of the singular fact that an ethnic issue is being brought into it, and the Ijaw Youth Congress has decided, or maybe it's the Ijaw National Congress or whatever, the Ijaw people are given a threat that if Wike continue with his set of lawmakers to impeach Fubara, they'll begin to bomb the pipeline. And true to what they promised, according to their threat, it was done on one of the pipeline, which I think prompted the president to be proactive before they begin to bomb all the pipelines, and then we have issue with the economy. And we are running a mono economy. Maybe that is the interpretation of war by the president, or inimical tendencies to the sovereignty of Nigeria, or some action that want to bring down the economy that may eventually affect the generality of the unity of the country. But thank God they've taken the matter to court. The court will, to a large extent, do justice to this, give the interpretation, because what the plaintiffs seems to be asking the court is to decide whether the president has the right to suspend the elected government of Rivers State, which is supposed to serve a 4-year term, and also that they are challenging that declaration of state of emergency, which has led to the suspension of the governor. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed, and let's continue to like this channel. We are waiting for what the court will tell us. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you. Share.